You ever have one of those days where everything feels calm, peaceful, just perfect? I was lying in my hammock, book in hand, sun peeking through the trees, when the earth-shaking rumble of heavy machinery shattered the silence. My entire cabin vibrated. I jumped up, heart pounding, and sprinted outside. And there she was, Karen. Not just any Karen, the Karen, head of the HOA, standing smugly with a clipboard while a demolition crew rolled up like it was just another Tuesday. "Didn't you read the notice?" she asked with a smirk. "This cabin violates HOA regulations. It's coming down today." I couldn't help but grin. "That's funny, because this cabin's been standing here since the 60s. Your HOA didn't even exist back then." She waved a piece of paper like it meant something. "Doesn't matter." "We've got jurisdiction now." I raised an eyebrow. "Really? Wonder what your HOA would think if they knew I owned the land your precious clubhouse is built on." The smile vanished from her face. "So how did we get here?" "Let me take you back a bit. I'm Mike Peterson, 35, software engineer, and newly minted owner of my grandfather's lakeside cabin. This wasn't just any cabin. It was a family legacy. My summers were spent there, skipping stones, fishing, and roasting marshmallows. It was rustic, beautiful, and built with love by Grandpa Richard himself in the 1960s. When he passed, he left it to me in his will. The place needed work, sure, some leaks, rotted wood, but I was determined to bring it back to life. That dream hit a wall the day I got my first HOA violation notice. Fancy letterhead, cold, clinical tone. My cabin, they said, didn't meet aesthetic standards. I had 30 days to comply. I laughed and tossed it in the recycling. I wasn't part of any HOA, I made sure of that. My land wasn't in a development. It had been here long before the fancy lake homes started popping up, but the letters kept coming. More aggressive, threats of fines, warnings of demolition. Then one Saturday, I was sipping coffee on the porch when a black SUV pulled up. Out stepped Barbara Wilson, HOA president, dressed like she was about to sell you a luxury condo. She looked at my place like it was a pile of garbage. "Mr. Peterson," she said with a too-wide smile, "this structure violates our standards. The materials, the flower boxes, the color scheme. All unacceptable." I took a long sip of coffee. "This land isn't yours to govern. It's been private for over half a century." She handed me a map with new boundary lines. "Town council approved our jurisdiction extension last year. You're in it now. You have 30 days. Then fines begin." "You sure about that?" I asked. She smiled like a rattlesnake. "Absolutely. We control the council. You won't win." I called my Uncle Sam, retired attorney, and the guy who managed Grandpa's estate. We met at the county records office. My old classmate Tom Jenkins worked there, and he helped us pull historical property records. What we found shocked us. Grandpa had sold most of his land in the 80s, but not all. He kept 3 parcels, the cabin and 2 others. "This one here," Sam said, pointing to the map, "that's where the clubhouse sits now." Turns out the HOA's precious clubhouse was built on Peterson land. They either missed it during their title search, or they hoped no one would ever check. Either way, they messed up. Badly. I didn't want war, but I also wasn't backing down. When Steve, my neighbor from the actual HOA development, mentioned an upcoming board meeting, I asked to tag along. He got it immediately. Mark Patterson, my buddy from college, interested buyer. That Thursday, I walked into the Lakeside Estates clubhouse, trying not to gag at the chandeliers and white marble. I stayed in the back, blending in. Barbara took the stage, dripping with pride as she unveiled the HOA's new expansion plan. Renderings of spas, pools, luxury cabanas. And there it was, my cabin, labeled Wellness Center. That's what this was about. They didn't hate the cabin, they wanted the land. After the presentation, I overheard Barbara whispering to a councilman, "We'll have the eviction order by next week." I slipped away, found their records office, and, let's just say, my cabin DIY skills came in handy on that lock. I took pictures of everything: boundary tampering, budget plans, even a memo about eliminating non-conforming structures. When Barbara walked in mid-convo with that same councilman and joked about accidents happening to stubborn owners, I knew I had enough. I shared it all with Sam: the documents, the photos, the threats. Then we got a text from Steve. Demolition had been pushed up to Monday. We had 72 hours. Sam filed an emergency injunction. I contacted Rachel, an old college friend turned journalist. She promised to look into it. I set up security cams around the cabin, and good thing I did. Saturday night, they came. 2 guys with gas cans. They ran off when they saw the cameras, but we had their faces. The police showed up fast. One of the guys, Timothy Scott, flipped immediately. Said Barbara paid him $500 to scare me. Arson wasn't the plan, or so he claimed. Rachel ran the story. Barbara showed up at my cabin, lawyer in tow. "This is slander," she hissed. "Defamation." "Truth isn't defamation," I said, "and you're going to find that out real soon." Monday morning, court was packed. The judge, Patricia Williams, wasn't buying the HOA's eviction attempt. Sam dropped the bomb. Our original deed, clear as day, showing my grandfather retained those plots, including the clubhouse site. The HOA's lawyer tried to claim Grandpa signed over the land in 1995. Sam held up the death certificate. Grandpa died in 1992. The courtroom erupted. Judge Williams paused the case to investigate the forgery. No demolition, no eviction. Barbara cornered me afterward. "You have no idea who you're messing with." "No, Barbara," I said. "I know exactly who I'm dealing with, and you just made this personal." That night, 2 more guys tried to break into the cabin. One was Timothy again. The police caught them both. More fuel, more tools, more evidence. Rachel's next headline: HOA president implicated in arson plot. Barbara was arrested, then released on bail. Residents started sharing horror stories: fines for grass height, mailbox colors, parking violations. The community turned. Wednesday's court session was even more intense. The judge confirmed the forged document. The eviction was dismissed. Then Sam presented the evidence that 58% of the clubhouse sat on Peterson land. "Mr. Peterson," the judge asked, "what do you want to do?" I stood, heart racing. "I want to sell the land back. Not to Barbara, not to this corrupt board, but to a reformed HOA with new leadership, transparent bylaws, and a promise to leave my cabin alone. Sale price, $1 million. The money goes into a scholarship fund in my grandfather's name." The crowd applauded. Barbara lost it. "This is outrageous. You committed fraud, threatened me, and built your clubhouse on my land," I said. "Take the deal or lose it all." The judge gave them 30 days to negotiate. In the following weeks, everything changed. Barbara was ousted. The board resigned. Elaine Cooper was elected president. Steve became VP. They approved the purchase of the clubhouse land and officially exempted my cabin from HOA rules. The Richard Peterson Memorial Scholarship was born. Barbara eventually pled guilty to fraud and conspiracy, probation, fines, and community service. Her empire crumbled. She was just another face in town now. No power, no fear. Jessica Wilson, her daughter, reached out, said she never knew about the threats or forgeries. She was just the architect. We met for coffee. She apologized, genuinely. She even helped restore the cabin, blending modern comfort with vintage charm. The cabin now has new cedar shingles, working utilities, and its soul intact. Local craftsmen helped. One mason remembered building the chimney with Grandpa as a teen. It all felt full circle. The scholarship awarded its first 10 grants to kids studying trades and community development. The clubhouse became a true community hub. The bylaws were revised. The power centralized in the people, not a queen bee on a throne. I became a reluctant symbol. People from all over reached out sharing their HOA horror stories. I told them the truth. You don't beat tyranny with rage. You beat it with receipts. One day, my mom gave me a box Dad had kept. Inside were Grandpa's journals. In one letter, he explained why he held on to those land parcels. "Development's coming," he wrote. "Can't stop it. But I can make sure there's room for something real, just in case." He knew. He always knew. Now, every morning, I sit on the porch with my coffee, watching families skate on the lake, something Barbara once banned. The clubhouse hosts art nights, cookouts, and community projects. My cabin stands tall, imperfect but authentic, just like Grandpa would have wanted. 1 year later, the town has changed. Better, fairer, stronger, because one man dared to ask, "What gives you the right?" and followed it up with action. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments. Have you ever had to stand your ground against power? Stick around, because stories like this, they're just getting started.